Congressman, thanks so much for your time. I want to start real quick by just talking about what happened today in the Oval Office with the president, President Trump and President Zelensky. Lots of questions about what happens here next. What's your take on what happened?
Well, sorry, I've been busy the whole day today talking about immigration, tariffs, and other issues. So, I mean, I just heard about it, but I hope they can get back again and talk because if we're going to do peace, we need to have Ukraine involved and not just with Russia. Russia took over that land, and it happened in 2014, and it happened 3 years ago. But I hope they can get back again. I understand it got a little heated.
It did get heated. You've been in DC a long time. Basically, President Trump kicked President Zelensky out of the White House and says, "Come back when you're ready for peace." Um, have you ever seen something like that before, like to that level?
Well, again, I didn't see what happened. I'm just going on secondhand, but yeah, I think this is probably something I've heard about for the first time. Yes.
I want to ask about the economy. You know, the money runs out to fund the government March 14th. We have been through this road many, 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 many times. And, clean CR changes with the Department of Government Efficiency. Where are you on this as we come up on March 14th here?
Well, first of all, it's important that we fund the government. We missed the September, we missed December, and here we are about March, and it just takes two to tangle. And certainly, we're asking our colleagues on the other side to sit down and talk to us so we can make this happen. It is important to know that when Democrats are in the minority, like we are right now, and for the last 10 years, I think maybe with the exception of one time, there have been more Democrats supporting the appropriations than Republicans have, at least on the House side, even if we're in the minority. So they need to sit down with us. I think the issue has been getting what we call top line numbers. But the other thing is we want some assurances that if Congress puts monies in a certain area, that it stays in that area. That's the way it's operated for hundreds of years. But apparently our Republican friends don't want to give us that assurance. So it looks like it might be a CR, a continuing resolution, maybe short term, maybe long term. But I certainly do not want to see a shutdown. But again, we're asking our friends to do this in a bipartisan way, like we've done so many years in the past.
So you've been at this a long time, and I asked Democrats this over the years, Republicans this over the years. Why is it that, especially in just the last couple of years, it's CR after CR after CR? You don't talk about it. Like you pass the CR and you don't bring it up again, not just you, but all of Congress, till right up on the deadline to do this again. And it's like a cycle.
You know, if I had a little red button and I could press that button and I would do it my own way, it would not work this way. We would finish the appropriations before September 30th. So October 1st, we could have a new budget. That's the way it's been. Then that's where it was. Then it got pushed to the end of December or sometime in the middle of December. But anytime there's a new president, at least 4 years ago, we saw it that the new president wants to have a little say so. What complicates the matter is reconciliation, because they're talking about making big changes, including cutting $2 trillion from Medicaid, food, and healthcare and other services. So that just complicates everything, including the farm bill, which is, we can't do the farm bill till we get reconciliation because that affects cutting food, the food program. So it's complicated, but again, we should have done this on September 30th or before September 30th. That's the way it was done for so many years. But unfortunately, the divisions that we see up there in DC have just gotten very extreme. And I'm one of those that I say, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's be bipartisan, not only in words, but in action.
Another wrinkle to this, another layer of this is the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, your lawmakers are trying to figure out whether to put cuts in this, whether to just do a clean CR. But I want to focus on the layoffs that we're seeing. thousands across government in Texas and all over the country. What is your take on that? I've talked to some of your colleagues who say, of course, there's government waste. Of course, it's important to cut that down. What is your take on the approach that this agency is doing this?
Look, do we have waste and duplication? Of course we do. If you look at the GA report that came out last year, it said that for over years, we've seen somewhere between $231 billion to maybe almost a little bit over $500 billion of waste, duplication, improper payment. So, we've seen that, but we got to act on it. Number one, there are 441 federal agencies. Some of them are very important, like the Department of Defense, Homeland, et cetera, transportation. There are some agencies that should be eliminated. They haven't done anything since 2008, not even put out a report. So can we get together in a bipartisan way? Yes. But the way it's been done now, where, it just comes out of nowhere, for example, when you lay out or lay off 6,000 veterans, where these are people that were there in the military and then they got laid off. So if we're going to lay off certain people, let's at least look at the merits of that individual and not just say we're going to lay off, X amount of people itself. Again, I'm for cutting waste and duplication, reducing the deficit. But again, if it starts cutting into the services, into the individuals that provide the basic services like veterans and Social Security and other areas, I think we need to come up with a more measured, balanced approach. Instead of using an axe, I think we ought to use a scalpel to get rid of the fat instead of cutting into the bone and the meat.
So a lot of federal workers are on edge. There's reporting that there's going to be another Elon Musk, what did you do email. A lot of workers are on edge about what happens here. What is your message to those federal workers who frankly don't know what's next?
Yeah, it is bringing uncertainty, no ifs to the workers. And I've talked to a lot of them, and they are worried because they got families. To send an email and say, hey, tell me what the 5 things you did last week. Is that going to determine the career of that? No, there are managers and there are secretaries that got appointed by or confirmed by the Senate. We got to follow that process. There's already a process. There's some folks that we need to get rid of. Yes, but the way it's been done, it's not measured, it's not balanced. And again, it's bringing a lot of uncertainty to workers, and especially some of those veterans have been laid off that, served, and now they're back in civilian life. And we tell them, thank you for what you did for our country, but hey, sorry, we're going to lay you off. So again, it's got to be measured and it's got to be balanced on how we do this cutting.
And last one for you, this inaugural flight from San Antonio to DC, it is a big deal. It's been in the works for a long time. I know you folks are talking about it with your colleagues. What's your take on it? It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. We've been working on this for many years. About 10 years ago, I almost got this done, but politics got involved on a thing. But this time, Democrats, Republicans, we all got together, the senators, the congressmen, we got together, we pushed hard, and it got done. And this is why I'm excited about this, because this has been, there were 2 big projects I've worked on that it was important for the San Antonio community. One was a federal courthouse, and I worked with Senator Cornyn. We got it done, a federal courthouse. And then the other one, working with Senator Cruz and the other delegations, our colleagues, we got the direct flight. Those were the 2 biggest things that people had asked us to do. And guess what? We delivered.
So with Republicans and Democrats working together on this for San Antonio and for South Texas, what do you think, generally speaking, if you look at it 30,000 feet, bipartisanship is very difficult in DC, but is this some glimmer of hope that you guys can work?
It's a glimmer of hope, and it shows you what can be done working Democrats and Republicans. The federal courthouse, that was a big deal. The direct flight, this is a big deal. I still wonder who set this flight at 6:25 in the morning, but that's a different thing. But nevertheless, it shows you what happens I worked with Senator Cruz on this, but I also worked with him on some laws that a law that allowed us to speed up the building of bridges in Laredo, Eagle Pass, and other places. That shows you when you work together in a bipartisan way, you can really make big changes for communities.
All right, Congressman. Anything else you wanted to add?
That should be it. Thank you so much. Are you going to be there at 6:25 in the morning?
So I get up at 2 o'clock every morning, 6:25.
Oh yeah, well this is an easy one for you.
The day's half over at 6:25.
Well, if you get up at 2 o'clock this morning, you look good. So tell me what vitamins are you taking so I can take some.
It's a nap at 12:30. It's glorious. Thanks so much for your time, Congressman.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.